Before we listen to these responses on friends, colleagues, and classmates, I just want to say something about scores, and specifically the score for fluency and coherence. So here is the box showing a score for 6. First criteria is willing to speak at length, meaning obviously you have to be able to answer the questions at length. That doesn't mean that you have to continue talking without stopping for minutes and minutes and minutes on each question. But it does mean that you need to be able to exemplify your point. You need to give examples and you need to give reasons for what you're saying. So you need to support your answer, basically is what it means. And for a lot of the answers on friends, colleagues, and classmates, we don't see that. The answers are very short. The grammar and the language is pretty good, but it's not at length. So I just want to say that because I don't want to say the same thing for each and every answer.
Do you like making friends?
Yeah, I have a lot of friends. You know, in modern society, I don't think there is any way for anyone to survive without having any friends.
What do you think of friendship?
Friendship is super important nowadays. I am not exaggerating. There is no way for people to survive without having any friends. And friendship is something that can't be measured in terms of money. In other words, you can't put a price on a friendship.
What do you think a real friend would be like?
I think a real friend would truly be able to give you a listening ear, a warm shoulder, a helping hand, and the most sincere words whenever you are in need. These are what it takes to be a real friend, and I mean it on so many different levels.
What would you like to do when you hang out with your friends?
Wow, there are so many things we guys can do, like eating out, going to a movie, going for a spin, going camping, boating, skating, skiing, clubbing, or singing karaoke.
Okay, let me just come in here for a second. There are so many things we can do. Eat out, go to a movie, go for a spin, go camping, go boating, go skating, go skiing, go clubbing, sing karaoke. No, don't just list. Choose 2 of these at most. Well, no, not at most. Choose 2. 2 is good. And then develop those. Don't just list things. And then let's talk about the grammar a little bit. This is kind of weird. She said, or he said, right? Well, both of them, the question and the answer have the same word. What do you think a real friend would be like? Now, think for a moment. If somebody says, what would you do if you won $1 million? What would you do? Meaning, this hasn't really happened. So, what do you think a real friend would be like? So basically you're saying you don't have a real friend, but if you had a real friend, what would it be like? I think a real friend would truly be able to give you, it sounds kind of sad. So not what do you think a real friend would be like, what do you think a real friend is like? And a real friend is truly able to blah, 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 blah. And then the second question, what would you like to do when you hang out with your friends? Same thing. It makes it sound like you don't have any friends. So what do you like to do? And the next question, if I remember correctly, has the same problem with using would all the time.
What would you like to do when you meet people for the first time?
For starters, I would love to find out something we are both passionate about. You know, nothing would be worse than we guys sitting together and having nothing to talk about.
Again, with the would. Alright, but let's look at something else. Find out something. You can find out information, you can find out an answer to something, but you can't find out something concrete, like a topic, for example. So in this case, it should be, for starters, I would like to find something that we have in common, not find out something.
What is the relationship like between your classmates and you?
We get along quite well, and I have some really close friends. We help each other on so many different levels, and I think the friendship between my classmates and me are so invaluable that you can't price on it.
There was a weird edit here. I don't know why. They seem to have cut out a word, so it should be you can't put a price on it, but the put's been cut out.
What is the relationship like between your colleagues and you?
We get along quite well. We often do teamwork and projects together, which offers us an excellent opportunity to know each other better. During the lunch break, we eat out together and have chit-chat.
When you talk about a specific lunch break, you can say the lunch break. So for example, the lunch break we had on Friday or something like that. But if you are just talking about your daily lunch break, well, then we need the possessive adjective my or our. So during our lunch break, or during, our, I guess would be the best, since he talks about we here. And then here, have chit-chat. People don't have chit-chat, they make chit-chat. But what would actually even be better than this would be to use chit-chat as a verb.
What are the differences between colleagues and friends?
I think they are quite different. Colleagues are people I work with 8 hours a day and 5 days a week. It is a complicated relationship, which includes the working relationship, the competitive relationship, and the interpersonal relationship. It is just like a tangled web. Friends are quite different. Friends are people you like very much and enjoy spending time with. They are the guys you can really trust and have a heart-to-heart talk with. Of course, I mean those real friends, not those fair-weather friends.
What do you think a good boss should be like?
First, and the most important thing, is always try put himself in his employee's shoes, which is not every successful boss can do. Another thing is that a good boss should be charismatic, ambitious, knowledgeable, humble, and considerate.
And again with the list, but let's look at some grammar. First, and the most important thing, is always try, well, we need a to somewhere here. So how about we put the to between the is and the always? So the most important thing is to always try to put himself in his employee's shoes. Or maybe easier than that is to use the gerund. First and the most important thing is always try putting. I don't know why the boss is a him, but okay. And then the second part, which is not every successful boss can do, which is not something every successful boss can do.
What do you think of the relationship between a boss and an employee?
Basically, the relationship between a boss and an employee is a superior and an inferior. A boss should always play a leading role in the whole organization, and he should be able to stimulate his employees to show their initiative to work the hardest for him. However, an employee's job is to do whatever it takes to impress his boss so that he can get a higher salary or promotion. The rule is survival of the fittest.
Interesting. I don't know who is not going to survive. Is it the boss or the employee? I think it's talking about employees competing with each other, not employees competing with the boss. So anyway, maybe it's just a cultural difference. But let's look at some language. Superior and inferior. It's not inferior, it's subordinate.